Okay, good morning. Assalamualaikum, and I hope that everyone in a good condition because yesterday we had a very heavy rain. So today we have to conduct the class virtually or online. So I hope that you guys can bear with me till the end of the session. So at any point, I presume that the weather is not quite good. Today we are going to start with the topic number 7. So we are going to have a look on the activation of the CD4 T cells. Okay, we are going to have a look on how the subsets of the T cells in the production of cytokines, the memory T cells, the function of CD8 T cells, dan juga the destruction of the waiting. Okay. Okay, so today the thing is how the activation of the T cell CD4 T cells is how their interaction between the APC. I mean, they do have ataupun before the CD4 T cells being activated, they must have an APC that presenting some sort of antigen inside. So therefore, they will go and find the CD4 positive ataupun CD4 T cells in order to make sure that the CD4 T cells will start to activate against that particular invaders. So it's quite almost similar with the previous one. So this is how it looks like. Okay, as you can see that this is what we have here. We do have two types of thymus-dependent antigen dan juga thymus-independent antigen. And the first one is how the B cells starts to being activated by recognizing the T cells. Okay, the first thing first is the first signal required for B cells activation is delivered through its antigen receptor. Okay, and for thymus-dependent antigens, the second signal is delivered by a helper T cell. So this one adalah for signal number 1 and signal number 2 is solely for thymus-dependent antigen, which then recognize degraded fragment of the antigens as peptides bound to MSC class 2 molecules on the B cell surface. Manakala the interaction between the CD4T ligand or CD4TL on the T cells, as you can see that here CD4TL on the T helper cells ataupun T cells punya surfaces, and the CD4T on the B cells. So CD4T will be ataupun can be found on the surface of the B cells. Contributes an essential parts of the second signal. So therefore, whilst for the third one, the second one is for the thymus-independent antigen. The second signal can be delivered by the antigen itself, which is di mana non-thymus derived accessory cells not shown here. So as you can see that here, this is how the steps ataupun the way langkah-langkah yang diambil ataupun the CD4T subset T cells, the production of the cytokines di mana this is kita punya the antigens, the molecules ataupun the peptides or the antigens, which on the B cells we have ataupun the B cell itself adalah the antigen presenting cells. So therefore, once they do have ataupun they start to capture the antigens, so at the same time, this particular B cell will come towards the APC in order to make sure that they will give some sort of help in get rid of the invaders yang akan be discard out from the cells. So with the CD4T on the surface that originally ataupun memang on the surface of the B cells. So again, on the other hand, on the surface of the helper T cells mestilah ada CD4T ligand so that they akan combine ataupun fuse together. So for this one adalah how the B cells bind virus through viral coat protein. So this is the epitope, and also on the B cells kita ada yang dia punya the surface ataupun the what we call the sites yang akan capture the epitope, iaitu the on the surface of B cells is the paratope. So this is how it looks like bila dia starts to fuse with this particular epitope or the punya surface ataupun the surface of receptor, which is the paratope. This particular virus particle finally is internalized dan juga degraded ke dalam the B cells, which later the peptides that already been crushed into a very small particle presented to the cells, the T cells, which activates the B cells. So therefore, kat sini, which later activated B cells produce antibody against the viral code protein. So then they akan being released out from the punya body system. As you can see that this figure shows how the cells dan juga T cells must recognize epitopes of the same molecular complex in order to interact. Okay, bear in mind, an epitope on a viral protein is recognized by the surface of immunoglobulin on a B cells, and the virus is internalized and degraded. So dia akan dibawa masuk, degraded into small particles, which later the peptides derived from viral proteins, including internal proteins, will be returned to the B cell surface bound to the MSC class 2 molecule. So as you can, as you guys aware of, once it involves with MSC class 2, meaning that the CD that will related adalah CD for T cells. Here, these complexes are recognized by helper T cell, which help to activate the B cells to produce antibody against the coat protein tadi. So, kat sini kita boleh tengoklah bagaimana the process from the previous lecture. Kita dah tahu how the CD4 dan juga CD8 plus T cells works within the MSC class 2 ataupun MSC class 1, and also with at the same time dengan the presence of the virus, whether it's exogenous ataupun endogenous virus antigen. Okay, the memory T cells for CD4 plus. Okay, this one adalah they provide the immune system with memory against previously encountered pathogens, di mana memory cells can be either CD4 plus ataupun CD8 plus, and usually express the CD45RO. The memory T cell subtypes, contohnya central memory T cell, TCM cells, express CD45RO, CC ataupun chemokines. This is stand for the chemokines ataupun the symbol or international symbol that been used for chemokine. Di mana chemokine receptor type 7 CCR7 dan juga selectin CD62L pada memory T cells, where you can see that here this is your immature T cells, and this is our antigen presenting cells. So the antigen that already been invade ataupun degrade into the small particle dalam antigen presenting cells, which later will be presented on the surface of this particular APC with the help from immature T cells, which has the TCR ataupun T cell receptor, and this one adalah the MSC that been produced ataupun yang hadir pada the antigen presenting cells, which will carry the MSC. This particular MSC is either class 1 or class 2, will carry the antigen particles that has been degraded dalam antigen presenting cells to the surface of this particular MSC, which later these particular pathogens ataupun particles of the pathogen will be recognized by the TCR ataupun T cell receptor. So later these immature T cells akan be activated, and therefore from here it can be divided into it's either the TCR ini adalah it's either can be CD4 plus ataupun CD8 plus. So for the CD4 plus adalah which later sama ada yang akan terlibat mature helper T cells yang akan jadi mature T helper cells, and for the CD4 once they do have ataupun they can recognize ataupun fuse this particular antigen with the help from MSC, it can be the CD8 plus ataupun mature cytotoxic T cell. CD8 plus ataupun also can be called as a cytotoxic T cells. So this T cell can be either CD4 plus ataupun CD8 plus. Okay. Manakala for CD8 plus function of T cells, the CD8 plus cells ataupun known as cytotoxic T cells adalah cells of the immune system that contribute to the body's adaptive immune response. Di mana the CD8 plus T cells have also been found to play various roles in different diseases. So it's not just about the only one T cells that play important role, but also for the CD8 as well. So we have the two CD, which CD8 plus dan juga CD4 plus. Okay, as you can see that here, this is how it looks like. This one where we have the virus, sama ada the virus, the TCR. This is the symbol that been used here dalam this particular images ataupun figure. So for this one adalah for virus, the TCR for this one. Okay, as you can see that if this is the TCR, so definitely this one adalah immature CD ataupun is either CD4 plus ataupun CD8 plus, or known as well as a cytotoxic T cells. Okay. Manakala yang merah ni yang look like Y adalah MSC class 1. This is a beta-2 microglobulin. Okay, kalau beta-2 microglobulin, it belongs to which group of MSC? Okay, remember, it's MSC class 1 ataupun class 2. Sebab dia tidak ada alpha 1, alpha 2 dan juga beta 1, beta 2. Okay, yang MSC class 1, they do have alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1 dan juga beta 2 microglobulin. So definitely, I'm sure that this is for MSC class 1 sebab adalah untuk CD8 plus. Manakala this one adalah viral peptide yang already been crunched ataupun degraded into a very small particle from this particular antigen presenting cell. So please assume that this particular pinkish thing ataupun block adalah kita punya APC, right? And the CD8 plus co-receptor, okay, untuk yang merah ni, so this one adalah CD8 plus co-receptor. Manakala yang small particle with the greyish color adalah cytotoxic granules. Manakala another molecule ataupun complement that involved in this particular fusion ataupun complex adalah FASL dan juga FAS. So later kita akan tengok what is FASL dan juga FAS. So roughly this is how it looks like for the CD8 plus function of the T cells. And following that, we are going to have a look on the cytotoxic T cell destroy on targeted cell. How these cytotoxic T cells akan be destroyed ataupun target on ataupun works on targeted cells. The first one adalah cytotoxic T cell binds into infected cells. Okay, this is a self non-size complex. This is kita punya infected cells. Manakala this one adalah yang triangle with the yellow color ataupun nearly orange color adalah kita punya foreign antigen. So this one, dia punya complex. So they will forming a sort of like self non-self complex. So then we'll be sending into the cells ataupun kita punya APC, which later this one, the foreign particles ataupun the small debris of the foreign particles will be sent ataupun will be fused with this particular kita punya antibody, and also will be presented on the surface of this particular APC, and also at the same time we do have the MSC. So this is one of the MSC complex yang akan present the foreign antigen. With that, this is our cytotoxic T cells ataupun CD8 plus T cells, in which dalam ni they do have the foreign molecules. Remember again from the previous lecture, kita ada dalam kita punya cytoplasm, what are those molecules that akan present dalam kita punya cytoplasm, from the proteasome dan juga ada yang proteasome for the CD4 plus manakala yang the left hand side adalah untuk MSC class 1 for CD8+ ataupun cytotoxic T cells. So these particular porphyrin molecules akan works together with this dalam inside kita punya cytoplasm. And then which later the porphyrin, dia punya tugas ataupun roles adalah to make holes in infected cells membrane dan juga akan release dia punya enzyme inside the infected cells punya membrane. Okay, so as you can see that this is how it looks like. They do have their punya hole forming enzyme that can promote apoptosis. So this particular enzyme yang produced by porphyrin akan been released out so that dia akan starts to promote ataupun starts the process of apoptosis untuk neutralize ataupun crush into a very small particle. Then later the infected cell is destroyed. So this is how it looks like bila the cytotoxic T cell works on this particular invasion ataupun invaders. So for further reading, we do have some sort of like a super antigen, okay, iaitu a class of antigens that cause non-specific activation of T cell resulting in polyclonal T cell activation dan juga massive cytokine release. So in order to do so, this is what been doing for the super antigen. Kita tak mau kita punya cytokines being released too much sebab the cytokine sometimes it can be bad to our immune system. It just need in a certain traces of amount for them to work with the kita punya CD4 is either CD4, the APCs dan juga CD8+. Okay. The SAG are produced by some pathogenic viruses dan juga bacteria which most likely as a defense mechanism against the immune system. Dan dia compared to a normal antigen-induced T cell response where about 0.0001 until 0.001% of the body's T cells are activated. Di mana the SAG are capable of activating up to 20% of the body T cells. Di mana, for example, like we can see that anti-CD3 dan juga anti-CD28 antibodies also shown to be highly potent super antigen dan juga can be activated up to 100% of T cells. So that's why we have to make sure that sometimes how we practice our lifestyle is also important in order to make sure that kita boleh gain ataupun retain a healthy life ataupun a healthy immune system. Right. Okay. Apart from that, 2 days ago, I had a chance to visit a friends of mine, which we know that, again, we are talking about the cancer cells, okay, which already been inside our body system, but it just waiting for the pacemaker ataupun a trigger in order for them to start activated. So he had this kind of a lungs cancer, but he was chosen to be part of the another group to test ataupun to start with the immunotherapy. Okay, there's no more. Previously, we have known that cancer cells normally been treated ataupun they do have dia punya rawatan, sort of like radiotherapy dan juga chemotherapy. But this time they are trying to do some further ataupun some new things as an immunotherapy, but it's already been established worldwide. Cuma maybe he was quite lucky to be chosen to be part of the team to test for the immunotherapy ataupun dia punya treatment. And as you can see that even I myself can see that this particular guy, he didn't have any side effect, especially rambut gugur ataupun dan sebagainya, loss of weight dan sebagainya. Tetapi at the same time, he said that he feel like more energetic, maybe compared to those who had any chemotherapy ataupun radiotherapy. This is some sort of new achievement in medicine in order to fight against the cancer cells. dan juga pada masa yang sama he had a very good appetite, rambut tidak gugur, dan within he had the first treatment in October. I can see that he's very active at the same time, dan juga tidak kata what we call tidak nampak very weak lah. Okay, sebab maybe kalau kita tengok the immunotherapy is one way of new treatment for cancer patient that only trigger ataupun that only focus on the immune system. So meaning that the treatment only focus on the immune cells so that the immune cells can fight against that particular invaders ataupun in this case adalah the cancer cells, compared to the previous radiotherapy dan juga chemotherapy. Mungkin dia treatment dia adalah untuk the rest of the cell in that particular area. So it is what we can say that this is a new achievement and also a new hope for the cancer patient as well. So it is for you guys, I presume that you can have a look on the internet ataupun get some information about the immunotherapy. Okay. Manakala for the structure for the SAG ataupun the super antigens, they've been produced intracellularly by bacteria dan juga released upon infection as extracellular mature toxins. The sequences of the toxins are relatively conserved among the different subgroups. And the most importantly adalah the sequence homology. The 3D structure is very similar among different super antigens, resulting in similar functional effect among different groups. So at the same time, the crystal structure of the enterotoxins reveals that they are compact ellipsoidal proteins sharing a characteristic of two-domain folding patterns comprising of NH2 terminal beta barrel globular domain known as the oligosaccharide ataupun oligonucleotide 4. So this is for your further reading. But the main important thing is adalah how we class what is the super antigens. And for example, like at least you can name ataupun you should be able to know that one or two super antigens that normally been identified ataupun recognized nowadays, which can cause a vast destruction or even a vast pandemic ataupun endemic kepada a human being. Okay, the binding for the super antigens bind first to the MSC class 2. Sebab the MSC class 2, dia punya ABC adalah ataupun dia punya T-cell sentinel bar adalah the CD4+. And then coordinate to the variable alpha or beta change of T cells receptor. So this is how dia punya first target. Okay, this particular super antigen also ataupun the invaders or even the pathogens, they have their own targets. Which cells that they want to target first ataupun which part they are looking for. Like as human, okay, the first thing first, like for example, like we do have two types of food. Satu kita ada what we call McDonald's burger dan juga kita ada satu the Burger King. So which we would prefer. Okay. Manakala the super antigenicity independence ataupun indirect effects. Okay, contohnya apart from mitogenic activity, the SAG ataupun super antigens also can cause symptoms that are characteristic of infection. Seperti emesis, di mana this effect is felt in cases of food poisoning when the SAG producing bacteria release the toxin which is highly resistant to heat. Okay, the bacteria yang akan produce ataupun release the food poisoning ataupun dia punya toxin adalah resistant to heat. This is a distance region of the molecule that is active in inducing gastrointestinal toxicity, di mana activity ini also highly potent with the quantities as small as 20 to 35 microgram of SAG are able to induce the vomiting. So in very small amount from the particular SAG akan able to induce the vomiting from the human ataupun whoever yang makan ataupun got some sort of infection daripada food poisoning. Okay, it's not just that. The first thing first, maybe you can have the rashes on your skin, ataupun sometimes on your face, and also at the same time you can feel that you are your body temperature is not quite good. Maybe you are feel that more hotter ataupun more cooler or chiller. Depends kepada what kind of situation that you are having ataupun how your body system react towards that particular food poisoning. Then this particular SAG able to stimulate the recruitment of neutrophil. Okay, the first thing first adalah they recruit the neutrophil to the site of infection in a way that is independent of T-cell stimulation. Okay, first thing first, masuk, and then they stimulate and recruit kita punya neutrophil to the site of infection. This is how dia punya the first action. This effect to the ability of the SAG to activate monocyte cells. Okay, monocyte is part of kita punya APC, right? And they stimulate the release of the cytokine TNF-alpha ataupun tumor necrosis factor alpha, which leading to increased expression of adhesion molecules, which recruit leukocytes to infected region. Di mana akan cause inflammation in the lungs, intestinal tissue, dan juga any places that bacteria have colonized. Okay, so again, bacteria it can colonize within, sometimes within 6 hours, 12 hours, 24, 48, and so on and so forth. So the early, sometimes it's quite hard to be diagnosed at the early stage, but normally in this case of the food poisoning, you can feel that slightly differently of your body. Okay, so for example, like if you are allergic to any seafood, you can feel that starts to rashes, red rashes on your skin, ataupun on your face as well. So if therefore this kind of symptoms exist, please do not forget to seek an advice ataupun go to the medical assistance. And also at the same time, those who had any, for example, like a dairy products allergy ataupun nuts allergy, so this kind of thing can happen as well. And also one of the most dangerous indirect effect, okay, please bear in mind it also has an direct dan juga indirect effect. The ability of SAG to augment the effects of endotoxin in the body. So yang ini kita tak nampak. Okay, this is accomplished by reducing the threshold of endotoxicity. Di mana Chevrolet demonstrated that when administered conjunctively, the effect of SAG dan juga endotoxin are magnified as much as 50,000 times. So ada berapa thousand fold ya dia boleh lakukan dalam badan kita without showing any symptoms ataupun physical symptoms. This could be due to the reduced immune system efficiency induced by the SAG infection. Aside from that, the synergetic relationship between endotoxin dan juga SAG, which cause the double hit effect of the activity of the endotoxin dan juga SAG results in effects more deleterious than those seen in a typical bacterial infection. So, towards the end, implicates the SAG in the progression of sepsis in patients with bacterial infections, which SAG can be give some direct dan juga indirect impact. So, as you can see, whether if this particular SAG shows indirect impact, which is quite difficult for us nowadays, that we can see that there are lots of COVID-19 positive patient, right? But due to the mutation of ataupun the new sub classes ataupun a variant that been found nowadays ataupun been identified nowadays, so we can see that it's very difficult for the doctors, especially ataupun the medical personnel to identify ataupun recognize the symptoms, even though sometimes kita swab, did some swab, the results shows a negative, tetapi maybe the symptoms can be ataupun is quite similar for the COVID-19, any variants that already been mutated nowadays. Okay, diseases that associated with super antigen production, for example, is diabetes mellitus ataupun kencing manis. So This one adalah is very hard to be what we call 100% cure for diabetes, tetapi it can be reduced ataupun it can be what we call by applying ataupun by practicing a healthy lifestyle. Plus, you have to take some sort of medicine at certain times, so we can it's not 100% cure, tetapi kita boleh reduce ataupun control this particular diabetes. The eczema also is a super antigen caused by the super antigen. Sebab those who had any eczema, is very difficult for us to get rid of this kind of diseases. Even though you apply ataupun you consume certain medicines that been provided by the medical personnel ataupun any pharmacies, tetapi it will continue again. Okay. Guttate psoriasis also is related with the skin's problem. Okay, dia akan menyebabkan the whitish tints or your whitish apa tu kulit you become whitish dan juga kering. Okay, dan definitely you akan rasa itchy at all time. Ada yang scratch dia punya skin, even though the eczema as well, it can started you can have it since you were a baby. Then at the same time, bila dia punya itchy tu, kita cannot hold it ourselves, so we start to scratch it, and then towards the end boleh menyebabkan pendarahan berlaku on kita punya skin ataupun any parts of the body system ataupun kita punya body. Okay, Kawasaki diseases. Okay, you can have a look on the what types ataupun the physical features of the Kawasaki diseases. The nasal polyps, okay, nasal selalunya related with kita punya hidung. Rheumatic fever, rheumatoid arthritis, okay, arthritis, okay, kita punya arthritis kepada especially kita punya sendi-sendi lah, sama ada on our fingers, kita punya on our toes ataupun any parts of other sendi-sendi yang ada pada badan kita. Scarlet fever, okay, what is scarlet fever? Toxic shock syndrome dan juga ineffective endocarditis. Well, this is kind of the diseases that are related with the super antigen production. Okay, the treatment. What are we going to do with this? What should we do? Okay, the primary goals of medical treatment are to hemodynamically stabilize the patient and to eliminate the microbe that is producing the SAG. Itu saja yang dapat dilakukan. This is accomplished through the use of vasorepressor, fluid resuscitation dan juga antibiotics. Okay, itu antara the treatment that commonly been used untuk stabilize the patient. Okay, bukan tu orang kata menyebabkan 100% berakhir ataupun ending of that particular symptoms ataupun diseases. The body naturally produce antibody to some SAG. So therefore, this effect can be augmented by stimulating B cells production of this antibody. Manakala IG also pools are able to neutralize specific antibodies that you can prevent the T cells activation. Dan synthetic antibodies and peptides have been created to mimic. So the researchers with also producing the synthetic antibodies untuk mimic kepada SAG binding region on the MSC class 2, which dia punya function or roles is to block the interaction dan juga preventing T cells activation. Okay, kalau too much T cell activation, we don't know how, so it's not good to our system as well. Manakala immunosuppression are also employed to prevent T cell activation dan juga the release of cytokines. Again, like I said, the cytokines only being produced in our body system ataupun in animal system in certain kind of volume ataupun in a minimal volume sahaja ataupun even a traces of them, tetapi not too many of them. Corticosteroids are used to reduce inflammatory effects. Selalunya those who had any kind of eczema ataupun what we call the psoriasis, the best things adalah supply them with the corticosteroid untuk reduce inflammation at the sites of the infection ataupun mana-mana site yang terjadinya that particular symptoms. Okay. Following that, kita akan tengok kepada the T-cell subtypes dan juga their signature cytokines in autoimmune dan juga inflammatory diseases. Okay. Kita ada pathogenic role dan juga protective role. Sama ada the yellow one ataupun slightly the faded color of maybe color what we call this color, orange color. Okay, this one for green. Okay, the green one adalah untuk pathogenic role, manakala this one color ataupun slightly faded yellow color protective role. Di mana untuk protective role kita tengok IL-9 promotes the survival of T-rex ataupun T regulatory dan juga enhance their suppressive function. Okay, IL is stand for interleukin. Manakala dalam pathogenic role IL-9 associated with the recruitment dan juga accumulation of mast cell in certain autoimmune diseases. Manakala, terdapat dua di sini iaitu IL-9 dan juga interferon gamma. Okay, IFN gamma causes increases expression of TLR, T ataupun T-cell-like receptor increase MSC class 1 dan juga MSC class 2 antigen presentation. And also increase the chemokine secretion, increase macrophages activation dan juga phagocytosis. Manakala untuk interferon gamma as a protective role causes down regulation of lymphocyte trafficking into draining lymph nodes dan juga control of the T-cell expansion via the apoptosis. So again kita dapat lihat di mana ini adalah this image shows the roles of each cytokines or chemokines dan juga interleukins in our body system, right? So apart from that, kita ada IL-22, kita ada IL-10, IL-17 dan juga IL-4. This is what we have, the roles of the interleukin dan juga interferon ataupun chemokines group. Okay, IFN ataupun TGF adalah the chemokines dan juga CC yang tadi itulah. Okay, so the roles of cytokines, chemokines, interleukins, yang IL semua adalah interleukins. Okay, manakala yang interferon gamma, what we have another one TGF, alpha, TNF sini adalah group chemokines. Manakala seterusnya adalah cytokines. Okay. Okay, this is what we've been doing. This is the naive T cells yang kita ada. Okay, they do have the TH1. They do have TH9. Okay, this is for your reading. What is happening inside our naive T cells. Okay. So di sini kita akan tengok bagaimana the activation and function of the B cells. Okay, T-B cooperation, maknanya T dan juga B cells cooperation. They carry effect response keimunan kepada T independent. Okay, this one, as you can see that kita ada T helper 2 cells, okay. Dan this one adalah kita punya B cells, and on top ataupun on the surface of the B cells kita ada BCR ataupun B cell receptor, and this one adalah kita punya antigen. So this particular antigen, they do have the epitope untuk they fuse with the paratope yang already exists on the surface of the BCR. Okay, the B cells again kita ada CD4, manakala the T helper T cells kita ada CD4Tl, the TCR ataupun T helper cell receptor, and which later this particular genes dan juga the carrier akan get into the B cells. So there will be crushed into a very small particles for this particular antigen. So at the same time, this particular MSC class 2 akan emerge on the surface. Okay, travel to the surface of the B cells with the present ataupun presenting dia punya the particles ataupun peptides of this particular antigen, previously antigen. Okay, so then with the help from IL-2, 4 dan juga 5, kita ada IL-R on the surface of the B cells. Okay, antigen presenting cell in this case dia adalah dendritic cells. So kalau ada yang ada flagella ni, assuming that this is the dendritic cells ataupun part of the antigen presenting cells. Okay, helper T cells release cytokines that activate much of the adaptive dan juga non-adaptive immune system during infection. So inilah yang berlaku. Okay. The antigen on the surface of the MSC class 2. And this one adalah kita punya activated T helper cells ataupun CD4 cells. Okay, T cell receptor. Followed by cytotoxic T cells destroy infected cell by releasing enzyme that rupture the cell membrane of the pathogens. Following that, the antigen, the T cell receptor, this is MSC class 1, definitely for CD8. Okay, MSC class 2 is for the CD4. Again, the same process happened. Okay, waiting. And dalam inside kita punya cytoplasm, ada kita punya granzyme dan juga porphyrin yang akan rupture ataupun membantu dalam memastikan untuk memusnahkan cell membranes of the antigen. So B lymphocytes, kita tengok dia punya surface receptor dan juga function. Okay, this is kita punya B cell. So this is all the things, kita punya surface receptor. Okay, starting from CD40, kita ada CD80, 86, 267. This is the what we call the receptor that being recognized ataupun identified by previous scientists. Right, what are they doing? Okay, CD45 ataupun B2220. So this is for your reading. Tengok apa yang more importantly adalah CD40, CD19, CD22, CD20. So itu antara yang penting lah. Okay. So nak hafal semua ni memang tak ingat. The immunological function of the B cells, antigen production against specific target antigens, acts as APC dan juga presence antigen to T lymphocytes. Dan juga pada masa yang sama dia akan provide signal for T cell activation. So inilah tujuan dia. Okay. And dekat sini juga another ataupun other surface receptor molecules on the B cells. Contohnya CD40 yang tadi kita tengok kan, CD40 lawan dia pada T, CD4 ataupun CD8 T cells adalah CD4TL. Okay. Untuk CD19, 22, so on and so forth. Okay. Tengok this particular figure. If we were lymphocytes, this is the T cells, this is natural killer cells. Okay, the T cells ataupun thymus cells and B cell bone marrow or bursa-derived cells are the major cellular components of the adaptive immune response. The T cells are involved in cell-mediated immunity, where B cells adalah primarily responsible for humoral immunity, di mana dia akan relate to the production ataupun the release of antibody. The function of T cells dan juga B cell is to recognize specific non-self antigens during a process known as antigen presentation. So ini adalah tugas mereka for this particular two cells dalam badan. That's why kalau kita sakit, normally the doctors will get some sort of your blood, okay, red blood cell ataupun any, dia akan tak request, can we have some a little bit of your blood to test thoroughly for the presence of ataupun the detection of the T cells, the B cells, the platelet, okay, dan juga the serum, so on so forth, in order to make sure that they will can diagnose what exactly that you are having. Right? Kalau katakanlah your platelet is very high, what are the assumption ataupun diagnosis? If the platelet is very low, what are the diagnosis? Okay, when something goes wrong to your body, this is what is going on. Okay, kita ada TH1, kita ada interferon gamma, kita ada TH1. Okay, mula-mula TH1, then we found the interferon gamma, then akan berlaku activation with these two. Right? So again, this is our macrophages. Started with the macrophages. And then macrophages, neutrophil, IL-8, IL-12, the T cells, the activation, kita ada NK cell dan sebagainya. So please have a look on this particular figure. Try to understand what is going on. So tengok, we started with septic shock, kita ada activates endothelium, leukocytes recruitment dan juga vascular leak. Okay, this is what is happening ataupun the starting of this particular figure. Okay, septic shock, why? And what is going on dalam kita punya badan? How they will recognize and how are they going to collaborate ataupun cooperation between ataupun amongst them. Okay? So the activation dan juga differentiation. So we have comes towards the end of this topic. It's not that long. Actually, it was about nearly 1 hour.